Hello everybody, welcome to Reverse Homesteading. Today I thought I'd show you how I put my garden beds together. These are Birdies garden beds. They're steel, they're really tough. I've had them for just under 4 years. This one is new because I bought it just before we realised we were going to move. So Christmases and birthdays for the last 4 years or so have been giving me garden beds. So thank you, family and friends. We love you. We love you anyway, but you know, great to get garden beds. They're such a good investment. These have gone up in price quite a lot. Now they're $176 or $178 Australian each. These are 2.1 by 1.1 meters. I'll put the feet and inches in the description below. Yeah, so they're 8 in 1, or I think I saw on the box the other day in the shop they're 9 in 1, so they must have found another way of using them. So you can make small square, larger square, rectangle, which I always make because it uses all of the pieces, and many other ways you can make them up. And I find them quite a good size because I often run a trellis down the centre, and I even put, you know, I've had up to 3 beds in a line and a trellis right along the centre, so wherever the things go that are climbing on the trellis, if they go outside their own garden bed, it's okay. If I don't want to trim them back, they still have somewhere to climb, so I've found that really good. I have this piece of cardboard here which is the size of the garden bed. I was trying to just get ahead a little bit and dig out places which needed to be digged out because of the slope here, but I found that the ground is quite uneven, so I'm going to have to place the garden bed where I want it and see if there's a big gap underneath or whatever, and then dig it out to level it as per each garden bed. So this piece of cardboard is good for catching screws. Otherwise I might find another use for it. At least it will go under one of the garden beds. So I usually put 2 layers of cardboard if I have them, but because we've moved house we've kept all our boxes, so we definitely have 2 layers of cardboard for each of the boxes. I have 8 of these. Very blessed to have 8 of these, and I've kept the same kind of messiness, or there's a tiny bit of rust on some of them in with each lot, so they will all look approximately the same and be about the same age. I also have my Aldi garden beds, and I've had those for 10 to 13 years, and only one of them is really starting to rust. They're a smaller rectangular one. These Birdies ones are 39 centimetres this way in height, and they're good for pretty much anything. These I use shallow rooted plants in those just because they're much shorter garden beds, and yeah, it just seems to work better for lettuce and herbs and that sort of thing, and sort of also helps to keep that classified away from my other plants. Not that that really matters, but just the way my brain works. And to add a bit of height and keep the snails and slugs off my strawberries and other things, I'm going to use my plant stand that I used to keep my little pots off the ground when we were moving around, so that I didn't hurt anyone's garden or make patches on their lawn, dead patches on their lawn. This is a water tank from the bush that I found up in far north Queensland when we lived there, so I brought it back because I just loved it. It's just so Aussie. I used to have things trailing down, as I've said in a previous video, but you need the drainage in the bottom, so I bashed the bottom out. It was all rusty anyway. So anyway, how I put these together, I almost always put them together myself, but I was a little bit concerned because I realised, because I've so slowly got these garden beds up north in Queensland, I've never put them all together at once. It's a huge job. So I've kept my screws and nuts, my bolts separate. So the really rusty ones from the Aldi ones are there. Look at them all, so many. And the other ones, so I've kept the new ones apart, and they're going on the new garden bed here, which I haven't really used. So I've put 3 in, as you can see, 3 out of 5. So that holds it up straight, and I don't know, for me it's easier as one person building the garden bed myself. It holds it upright so that then there are 2 sections in this side bit, so it's easy to hold it up, lean it against, and put 3 in there, 3 in the other end, and then you've got almost the whole thing put together as an actual shape, and then you can come back in and do 2 on each join. You can just put top and bottom together and it'll hold up, but it's much more secure if you put 3 bolts in to start with. Yeah, so on the side of what you actually do it with, this is from IKEA. I've never used one before, but it's nice and quiet. It's yeah, pretty handy, and it's not as heavy and cumbersome as my hubby's drill. Yeah, so it's much easier to use, because sometimes you're sort of doing things it feels like upside down. And the other side of it that you need is something like a little spanner, or this actually came with the garden beds, so I always save those, or at least 1 or 2 of them, so that I can find them next time around that I need to put a garden bed together. Yeah, so that's mainly what I do. Yeah, so we'll just have to put the garden beds together and then just put them on the ground to see if it's level. There is quite a slope, as I've said, so we shall see. It will be a lot of digging to actually dig out all of them so they're all absolutely level, but you do get soil leaking out the bottom if you do have it on a slope. So we had that problem at the last place, so we'll probably go to a bit more effort this time. And I'm learning where all of the ant holes are, all of the ant nests. I think we have about 3 or 4 in the backyard, so there's another thing to consider. But yes, the soil's quite sandy here, so it should drain well, and the real estate photos must have been taken in winter because they had a lot of clover, and there's also moss in the areas that are shady, so that'll help me know where to put the garden beds, as well as I've been watching where the sunshine goes each day that I've been here. So unless you're planting plants that love a bit of shade, full sunshine is a good thing, and it's just easier to put your own shade over them if needs be, depending upon which stage your plants are at. Anyway, that's it for now. Oh yes, the other thing that I do is I have a box to put my screws and things in, so I'll have that nearby when I'm actually making the garden beds. So yeah, nothing worse than losing the screws in the grass when you're doing this process. Hope that was helpful. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.